Hello everyone, thank you for listening to me today. I'm going to present our results from the rainiest neotropical region. Um, Nowadays, we know that in the tropics there are probably regions to find annual true rings. These regions usually should be marked by seasonal rainfall. This is with a water deficit and a period of a dry period usually. Also, in seasonal flooding along river margin of some rivers, we can find uh, several tree species forming annual tree rings due water excess. So tropical tree ring paradigm is marked by contrast of seasonal of water in tropics. However, little is known about growth rings in the ever-wet forest. There are very few studies showing tree rings in such environment. Ever-wet forests usually are characterized by high rainfall and lacking of water deficit or flooding. Also, some people call these environments as non-seasonal environments. The wettest ever wet forests are placed on Pacific coast of South America. Here in this map, the red square represents the biogeographical Choco region. This is probably the rainiest region on Earth. There are in this region two localities with more than 11,000 millimeters per year. There are one locality with 13,000 millimeters per year, and this is in this second map we can see the precipitation during the driest month. As you can see, in this region there are high precipitation during the driest month, so it's not dry. Our research questions are the following: what is the true frequency of trees growing in a never wet tropical forest from the Choco region? If annual, what factors trigger annual tree ring in this environment? And we hypothesize that light availability and water excess are the main limiting factors for tree growth in such environment. Here in the climate diagram, we can see the precipitation and temperature of the study area. Is the Kalima River Basin. You can see 7,200 millimeters along the year. So in a former research, we observed several tree species with tree rings in the ever wet forest. In this same forest, we study 81 tree species, and we find 46% of these species with well-defined tree rings. Just 18% of these tree species lack of tree ring features. Here are some examples of such tree rings. So this leads us to ask the other question, the question of this research: what frequency? So we select 14 tree species. In these tree species, we perform radiocarbon analysis using the bone peak method. We also perform tree ring synchronization in 4 species that have enough samples to do that. And we also installed in 2 species several automatic band dendrometers. Here, the 14 species. Here, the tree ring features of the same 14 species. This is the first very important result. In this chart, we can see the calibrated radiocarbon date in y-axis and in the x-axis, dendrochronology date. This chart confirms the annuity of true ring structures in these 14 species. So we continue with the other question: what environmental driver can trigger these true ring structures? So we think that light availability or water excess could lead these true rings, annual true ring structures. So we found, using chronology in the 4 species, comparing this chronology after true ring synchronization with precipitation, temperature, shortwave radiation, and we found the following. 2 species, Humidiestrum procerum and Apeiba macropetala, are growing during the less rainy period. It's not the dry period, but it's the less rainy period, and stop growing during the rainiest months. Even more, during the rainiest month, these species stop growing and drop leaves. This is a particular and interesting condition. Also, the other 2 species, Qualea lineata and Gupia glabra, show a different pattern. These species are growing apparently during the rainiest months, not during the less rainy period as we expected. In addition, dendrometer records suggest similar results in 2 species, in Cupia glabra and Apeiba macropetala. Apeiba macropetala with true rings suggests is growing during the less rainy period. And here, with automatic band dendrometers, also we confirm such result. This species stopped growing here in the chart in the first panel during the rainiest months. On the other hand, the other species, Gupia glabra, in red, stopped growing during the less rainy period. After this period, the species start growing, and this is confirmatory for all results using true rings. So we can conclude the following. All results for the first time show for the first time the prevalence of annual true rings in ever wet tropical forests and their potential correlation to environmental variation. We found that tree growth are limited in the rainiest period in 2 species and limited in the less rainy period in the other 2 species. This relationship suggests that both excess or deficit of environmental factors may explain seasonal growth rhythms in this environment. Our study opens a new frontier for tree ring science, presenting new pieces of evidence for tree ring formation in the ever wet tropical forests. Thank you very much.